I'm going to get a copyright for playing the Wednesday introduction on Monday. Just made myself a note on the board to jump in after this live, if I remember, and change that. Oh, we all have these mishaps, but of course my channel will be taken down immediately. Never mind. Okay, so title of today is Learn Something New Today. Let's begin straight away with that. And let's do first things to learn new today is this. So I thought we would do some knitting and craft hacks and tips today. So the first one is use embroidery thread of a matching colour to sew up knitted garments. This is because if you use wool, it won't give you such neat seams. It also gives less sagging and it also lasts longer. So if you do knitting and you sew pieces together, try some embroidery thread to sew with. The next hack or tip is when knitting children's garments, line the elbows with pieces of nylon. Now that's a great tip. Obviously they will last much longer. So that's a pretty good tip, that one. The next one is if you have problems getting buttons to match knitted cardigans, buy some small curtain rings and crochet round them with matching wool. There's a tip for you. And the last one today is when making up a round necked sweater, sew a few stitches of different coloured wool on the inside back of the neck. So tell me if any of those were any good tips to you. And I think while we're on craft-ish chat, let's talk about this. Now I've got a whole load of videos coming up of things that I've got from charity shops recently. So I'm not going to show them all here, but I'm just going to show you a couple of bits I got because this might give you some inspiration of things to do if you're into crafts. It's not all about crafts today, but it fits in nicely. For 50 cents, I got this one, and this is a quilling book. And it took me ages for people to understand I'm not saying quilting, it's quilling. And I just love it. It's paper. It's different forms of curling and rolling paper to make really beautiful things. And you don't need to have any gadgets or gizmos. Of course, you can get them as you can with other crafts. But this is a very simple project here. This is just easily rolling the paper. You can buy like these polystyrene boards in craft shops, and look, that would be so easy to do. Just roll them, glue them on. You can roll round a thick needle, you can roll round anything depending on what size you want. You can even just roll with your fingers. You could make little eyes, look at the ears, these are rolled, and you can use anything for the feet. And of course the nose, you might find a little cap off of a bottle. That is one of the easiest projects. And this was a great book, so many projects in here, and it tells you everything you need to know. I don't like highly technical books, how to do something. I like picture form. And here they show you just some of the basic rolls and tell you how to do them. They're not difficult. They're all basically the same roll, and then you just pinch out the different forms as to what shape you want to do. So there's some inspiration for you. Yes, you can buy the special paper as you see here. You can see it there, but you don't need to. You can use old scraps, old bits of envelope, particularly if you're starting and you're learning or you want to see if you like a craft. some crafts you think, oh, that's really good, and you just can't get into it. So don't go out and buy equipment and stock of paper. You could just, and it does tell you in the book about how if they don't work very well, it's you're using the wrong weight of paper. So you can see all my badly cut up hands. I've got so many cuts on my hands at the moment. So there's that, and I'll show you one more thing I got. 3 of these, and these again were 50 cents each. I don't really do decoupage much. I did an old toolbox that was a right state, but it wasn't broken in any way, but it's really a disgusting faded state. And I just cut out pictures of vegetables, stuck them on and varnished over the top. But this is proper decoupage. And there's 3 of these. They, again, were 50 cents each. And it is 3 complete projects to do in each one. So I thought that would be a pretty good buy. As I say, I don't really do this. I'm not very good at cutting out anymore. But for me, it's a good learning curve. So just because I can't do something well doesn't mean I'm not to do it anymore. It won't look perfect. It won't look brilliant like a lot of your crafts are that I see. But the bottom line is, as long as I enjoy doing it. And this is one project. There we go. So this is one project here. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to do that. So there's 3 of these magazines. It was some series somewhere, and it's got part 1, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and they had all 3 in the charity shop. So as I say, 50 cents each one. So I picked them up. I picked those up. But there was far more stuff, but you'll see that in a video coming up soon. So do look out for that. My charity shop haul. We have Crafting with Love here. Hi to you, Clint. Thank you for joining me. So guys, do go over and have a look at Clint's channel, Crafting with Love. And if you like what you see while you're there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, what should we go on to now? I know what we will do now. We will do some of this. And we are still on my bird book. We're learning different things about birds, not type of birds particularly, but things about birds in general. And we're up to learning about roosting and sleeping. And this says, birds are mostly creatures of the day, although owls and often ducks feed at night and roost during the day. Garden birds, especially, retire to roost as darkness falls and become active again before it is light enough for you to see them. Roosting time differs between species. Large-eyed robins are still searching for worms after sparrows and pigeons have retired for the night. In the garden, you can detect roosting sites by looking out for the accumulation of droppings underneath. We know where an owl is in a tree in our garden, purely by that. Regular roosting places must give protection from predators and shelter from the elements. A hole in a tree or a nest box is the best place on both counts, but even a bare tree gives some protection from the wind. A study showed that a leafless thicket slowed down the wind speed sufficiently for roosting blackbirds to save a third or more of the fat that they would otherwise have used to keep warm. The nest is often used as a roost, especially by the female, before laying her eggs, but a few birds make special roosts for the winter. In regions where the winters are severe, but rarely in Britain, house sparrows build winter nests, smaller than breeding nests, and well lined with feathers. Similarly, woodpeckers may drill out special holes in winter, and tree creepers sometimes scoop out circular niches in rotten wood or in the thick spongy bark of trees. The shelter of a roost increases if birds huddle together for warmth. In winter, wrens gather in nest boxes, and family parties of long-tailed tits line up on branches, unlike other tits which roost alone in their holes. Blackbirds will roost in their territories, providing there's a suitable site. If your garden is without sheltering bushes, you may lose the blackbirds in the evening, especially in winter. They fly away to roost, preferably into a clump of evergreens. Hundreds have been known to meet at a single site. Finches, pigeons, gulls and house sparrows also practice mass rooting, while starlings are famous for their huge roosts that become such a nuisance in city centres. The regular evening migration of birds to their roost, whether strung-out V's of gulls or mobs of starlings, is a familiar urban sight. Small parties set out from the feeding grounds, gather at traditional staging posts and arrive at the roost in a swarm. Communal roosts give the same safety in numbers as a daytime flock and may also be a means of finding a good place to feed. A hungry bird follows a well-fed companion when they leave the roost in the morning because they will return to where they found food before. Sleeping. Few birds sleep with their heads tucked under their wings. That would be an awkward posture. The bill is tucked under the shoulder feathers, or the head is drawn into the breast. The feathers are fluffed out to keep warm, and one leg is often brought up to the body. Swifts are believed to slumber on the wing. They also roost in their nest, and moorhens catnap while swimming in circles. It is very difficult to creep up unobserved on a sleeping bird. You can see this is the case when watching a group of sleeping pigeons or mallards. You will notice that each bird opens its eyes at regular intervals. This is necessary precaution against surprise attacks from predators. As you get nearer, the birds will open their eyes more frequently to keep a careful watch on your movements. The precise function of sleep is still something of a mystery, even in humans. The best explanation is that sleep is the most effective means for a bird to save energy when it has time to spare. Some birds are known to lower their body's temperature during sleep and therefore save more energy. Because the resting bird is immobile and quiet, it also seems likely that sleep helps make the bird less as a conspicuous target for passing predators. Whatever the case, sleeping in a safe, sheltered roost is a great advantage. So I hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something new today about birds. Let's go on to Monday's Quote Corner. Indeed, good words. Okay, let's do something new. Let's learn something new today in the garden. So this is from my book of what you should do each week in your garden. And I've decided to pick week 4 of February because I know some of you watch this back later and obviously you want to be prepared for what you should be doing. So I've jumped a little ahead. So this is what you should be doing week 4 in your garden. And it says, now is a good time to make the mild hotbed. You may be lucky enough to have access to a supply of strawy horse manure. Otherwise, you will have to compost some straw with an activator. To this, add any other organic manure you happen to have, including farmyard manure, compost from a decayed vegetable matter, or leaf mould. Make as much as you possibly can, for you need to spread it in a layer 10 to 15 centimetres thick over a bed of soil. Probably the most profitable way to use such a bed is to grow some early potatoes. Use seed potatoes of an early variety, which have been set out to sprout and have 2 strong roots. Set each one in a nest of moist peat on the hotbed with 23 centimetres spacing between them. Cover lightly with more peat. As the shoots grow, add more peat or soil until the potatoes are covered to a depth of about 10 centimetres. This treatment alone will produce an early crop of potatoes towards the end of May or in early June, but you can gain a few more weeks by giving additional protection by glass, either cloches or temporary frame. On frosty nights, cover the glass with sacking to retain the heat and exclude all possibility of damage. Keep the bed watered moderately. Potatoes are only one of several possible crops for your hotbed. Others include carrots, the early stump-rooted varieties, and also early turnips. Peas may be given a start in this way too, but beware of slugs which revel in the moist, warm environment. While any sort of weather may be expected at the end of late winter, there is at least a chance of a mild sunny spell, which, if it does not occur now, will not be long delayed. It will stimulate all the crops which have survived the winter to make new growth and offer you an opportunity to help them by moderate application of fertiliser if you choose to use this. Among the crops that will be showing signs of new vigour are leeks, which will increase quite a bit in size before sending up a flower stalk. Parsnips, which should now be lifted as you don't want leaves, and all the surviving brassicas. Keep an eye on the latter, especially on broccoli and cauliflower, because as the sap rises through the woody stem, they will become particularly attractive to rodent pests, such as rats, rabbits, hares and grey squirrels. They will attack the stalks just below the crown, nibbling partway through them to get at the succulent pith and leaving the head to fall over in a drunken fashion. The only answers are either a vermin-proof fence or successful onslaught of the rodents. Vegetables to be sown outdoors include peas, broad beans, shallots, and in sheltered sunny gardens, early potatoes can be planted out, provided they are well sprouted. Warm the soil first with cloches or a tunnel and replace them after planting. Once the potatoes are through, ventilate them well when the weather is warm, but always see they are protected if frost threatens. Sow salad onions in boxes or in the ground under cloches and transplant, preferably under cloches or in frames, though not in a heated greenhouse. In the fruit garden, this month, sometimes referred to as the gateway to the year, and early spring see the transformation from winter to the new growing season. Well-maintained fruit gardens are much easier to manage, as well as being more productive. We've got blossom on our fruit trees at the moment. Raspberries for fruiting this summer can be given their final thinning, reducing the number of strong canes to a maximum of 6 to each stall. The tip of their canes, which may have died back in any case during the winter, can then be cut back to about 15 centimetres above the support wires to keep them at a manageable height. It will also encourage them to produce more side shoots on which the fruit is borne. Moles can sometimes be a problem, throwing up their mounds all over the place, and sometimes deliberately, it seems, running along the edges of the plantation borders and breaking them down completely. However, this can be dealt with. If a molehill is dug out, a mole hole or gallery will be revealed. A lighted mole smoke canister can be pushed into the tunnel left by the mole and the soil replaced, after which there should be no more unsightly heaps. Fruit trees in grass will grow and fruit more freely if the vegetation is kept cut short. It is more likely that the sward will have started to grow and will need its first light cut. The competition for fruit and moisture will thus be less. Any autumn top dressing still remaining should be lightly forked in. Blackcurrants that have suffered a severe attack of big bud in large abnormal fat buds are best dug up and burnt. On any bushes with only one or two such buds, pick off and burn the buds and spray the bushes if you choose to do this with lime sulphur. If birds are still attacking the fruit buds which have not been netted or from which the anti-bird areas have been washed off, it may be worth taking more action. In the greenhouse, late in winter is the time when people feel most in need of fresh salad, hence the popularity of mustard and cress, which you have probably been sowing at 10-day intervals throughout the winter. If you have a heated greenhouse, you already have a succession of crops of lettuce and radish. Now you can add a little variety by sowing a few quick-growing herbs. Chervil is one. Sow in boxes in warm, sunny corner of the greenhouse. Treat borage in the same way. Outdoors, this is a big sprawly plant, but it can be successfully grown as a spring salad indoors if the young leaves are cut before they are too large. Basil cannot always be successful in the garden, but usually germinates well in pots or boxes with protection and adds a pleasant clove-like flavour to the salad bowl. You may have had a pot of chives indoors all winter. If so, it may be becoming rather exhausted, but roots left outdoors will be beginning to show signs of life again. Dig up a few, pot them and bring them indoors. Do the same with a few mint roots. Any cauliflower, cabbage and greenhouse lettuce seedlings sown early this month will now be pricking out. So let's just quickly finish with what you should be doing in week 4. Sow or plant broad beans, garlic, Jerusalem artichoke, onion sets in warm gardens only, peas, potatoes main crop to chit, early potatoes in sheltered places or under cloche, shallot, carrots, onions, spinach and turnips under cloche. You should be harvesting Brussels sprouts, heading broccoli, winter cauliflower, sprouting broccoli, cabbage including savoys, celery, Jerusalem artichoke, kale, leek, parsnip, winter radish, salsify, spinach, beet, sea kale, beet in mild weather, swede, turnip, hardy varieties, and also turnip greens. And your fruit trees, plant apples, figs, outdoor grapes, medlars, nuts, pears and quince, stone, bush and cane fruits. Prune your apples, gooseberries, pears, summer and autumn fruiting raspberries. Water all indoor fruit and check birds or mice on any fruit. And finally, in the greenhouse, you should be sowing French bean, cabbage, early varieties, cauliflower, early varieties, carrot, corn salad. I've got some seeds of corn salad, which is lamb's lettuce. Some of you know it as that. It grows in the wild. Cucumber, lettuce, marrow, mustard and cress, radish, tomato and herbs. Transplant or prick out cabbage, cauliflower, chicory for forcing, cucumbers in heated greenhouse. and harvest carrots, French bean, lettuce, mustard and cress, parsley, radish, also false chicory, rhubarb and sea kale. Oh, that was a lot today. Okay, let's have some light relief now, and let's do this. Okay, so let's have one of the funny after dinner speeches. This is a good one. I read it. The Pope, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and the moderator of the Church of Scotland were enjoying a day together, fishing in a little dinghy on a beautiful lake. They made an early start at dawn, and around about 8 o'clock in the morning, feeling a little peckish, they decided someone ought to go back for their packed breakfast. The Pope offered to go back to the shore. He stepped out of the boat, he walked across the water, and he came back with the breakfast, and they went on fishing through the sunlit morning. At about midday, the Archbishop volunteered to collect the lunch. He stepped out of the boat, walked across the water, and came back with the packed lunches. The afternoon wore on, and about 4 o'clock, they were hungry again. The moderator volunteered to go back for tea. He stepped out of the boat and went kaplosh into the water. The Pope nudged the Archbishop. Do you suppose we should have told him where the stepping stones are? I like that. I think that's very good. Very good. I like that one. Okay, let's chat about this. Okay, so first of all, we're going to chat about my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I'm running it along the bottom there, and let's see what's been posted on there. So you can catch up with that channel if you're interested in the ones that I'm going to share with you now. So on Friday, on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, I posted a video of Restock, Reorganise. And this episode was following my cross-stitch threads and how I've organised them and restocked them. And I called that Reset Sunday. So go and take a look at that. And just prior to that, I posted a video that's very popular, so people like it, and it was simply called My Cat Pebbles. So go and have a look at that. And it's how she talks and her routines, that she just repeats and repeats a funny routine every single day. And in the title, I said we got her in 2005. And when we got her in 2005, she wasn't even a kitten then. She was already a young adult cat. So we don't know how old she is. But if we got her in 2005 and she wasn't a kitten, she is pretty old. So go and look at Pebbles and her funny little routine. And before that is a video you need to watch if you've got a YouTube channel, and I just called it important. You need to watch this if you have a YouTube channel, and do watch to the end because it gets progressively worse. So don't watch the beginning. Oh, that, no. And I'm already making a follow-up to that video to tell you where it's going from there. And if you like jigsaw puzzles, then I did a video prior to that on doing a jigsaw puzzle. They're always from start to finish. So do go and check out my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. Look at the playlist because there is so much content of all sorts of things. And I do like to call it the channel with something for everybody. Okay, let's look at what's been posted on this channel. Today I posted a video, something a little bit different on this channel. Affordable houses for sale. Now this is part 1 and this is a little introduction. I show you some properties as well and tell you how much they are, and a huge tip on how you can buy a property for less. So it's all above board and you still have your lawyers and solicitors, but do watch that and you will see some houses. I'm going to make much more in that series and each one's going to be completely different sorts of properties and they're affordable. So it's not a case of you've got lots of money, you can obviously afford any property. So I'm going to show you different things from rundown properties to completely livable properties, but all I'm going under 60,000. I'm actually going to do a video 20,000 and less, so that'll be coming up, but my roundabout figure is 60,000, but I'm looking at less than that where possible, depending on what I'm talking about. I've got a video coming up on an update of my garden, what seeds are growing, what's been transplanted out, what is growing in my bottle farm. So that will be out on Wednesday. So look out for that one. Another video I posted recently that's very popular is My Abandoned Village. And I've titled it, Let's Go Inside Some Stonehouse Ruins. And you can see all my village. It's right here, right by me, literally there and there and there. It's not a long walk away. And you can really understand then how I live in an abandoned village or a ghost town, if you like. So do look at that. That was posted on Wednesday, the 5th of February. So it's only a couple back. It's called My Abandoned Village. And if you like looking in ruins, you will love it. You absolutely love it. And that's part 1. That's part 1 because I had so much content to show you my village. And under that video in the description, it explains, even though this used to be a huge village, why there are only 6 full-time residents living in the original houses in this area. So in the description, it tells you why nobody lives in my village unless they're doing something new, bringing something new. So do have a look at that. So that's called My Abandoned Village. Let's Go Inside Some Stone Houses. And as I say, that was only a couple of videos back. And the thumbnail is, it looks like a big hole. It looks like a big hole. But yes, I think you will enjoy that. So do take a look at those. And I think I'm going to finish there for today. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate those of you who watch back later. Don't forget to drop a comment and say hello because I love to be sociable with you. So if you can't make my live times, I appreciate when you watch back later and drop a comment so I can say hello to you all. So you are appreciated. Thank you very much for your support. And I will be back here again on Wednesday.